everyone, Cami here. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be transferring from my old cash envelopes to my new one. So supposedly I would have my cash envelope stuffing video today, but because of me just starting my work this week, I will not be able to do that. So I will have that next week on a Friday. So I usually have my cash stuffing videos on a Friday before I forget, because I do film it on Thursdays. But I have my little vault right here. This is kind of like a box that my sister gave me for Christmas, and I just keep all of my cash envelopes here, my older ones. I have some random ones that I want to do someday. I do have my unemployed right here, my moving out one that you guys saw me stuff that I still haven't put in the bank. It still has $500 in there. And then I have my taxes right here, and then some random cash envelopes in there. But the main one that we're gonna be replacing is this one. I do need this one as well, I think. I was unemployed for a while, and now I kind of have a plan B. It's not the job that I was trying to orient for, so it was that job was just terrible. But I don't know, we'll see. But I just went back to my old job, which is like the waitressing job that I have. I really enjoyed that job a lot, so I'm really excited to go back. But I do want to let you guys know I do have a sale going on my shop right now. It's a 10% off, and it's 4th of July is number 4 and then capital TH and then of July. So it's pretty simple. It's just for the 4th of July weekend that I had for you guys. It's only until tomorrow, which is this Saturday. So if you guys have been wanting something from my shop, just put that code and you should be able to get 10% off. So these are my older big cash envelopes, and I'm gonna replace it with these. So these are like my what do you call this, updated ones. I made the font bigger, and it's just kind of looks like Teletubbies. I don't know, it's just giving me that vibe every time I put these. It's kind of like that little TV that they have in the middle of their tummies. I'm a 90s baby, so Teletubbies. Yeah, I have the pink for the sinking funds, the blue for the monthly bills, and then we are focusing on my debt, so I had a purple. So we're gonna replace the bigger cash envelopes and the smaller ones as well. So it's gonna be a long video, I feel like. So I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna take this out. The only thing that we're not gonna replace is my groceries. Where is it? That one. My groceries rollover one and my Etsy one. I have that. We're not going to replace that one, and we're not going to replace this one. This is where I put my paychecks when I get an Etsy paycheck. So that's where I put the money in. So I used to sell these cash envelopes in my shop. I have the Bubbles, I have Buttercup, and then I have Blossom. So these are like Powerpuff Girl names. I know I'm just like a nerd like that, so I kept it that way, and I already went ahead and labeled it. And there's gonna be a couple of changes. These are not categorized at all, so I'm just gonna take these off. I got these little clips from Amazon. They're so good, and I got like 100 for what, $8? So it's a good deal. Also, I'm not putting my budget trackers on the back anymore just because it's a hassle trying to take it off and put it back on. We're just gonna try this out. So like I said, I used to sell these, but I don't anymore just because I don't know how you guys do it. The ones that sell cash envelopes, they're so like tedious, and it's not really for me. So we're gonna start with my boyfriend, and I'm just gonna like put the money in the envelope, and then I'm gonna update the budget tracker. So that's gonna be a very long video, but I'm actually gonna do a story time, I guess, because I thought about this. It's like a little kind of a live video, and it's gonna take a while. I already accepted that fact. I will tell you guys how I got in the United States, because I'm sure you guys are wondering. You're just not like asking about it. I don't know if you are or not, I'm not sure, but I feel like it's something that people are wondering about. And you know, I'm an immigrant. I'm very open about that. I'm not from the United States. I'm not from here. I grew up in the Philippines. I was born and raised there. I was born in a city called Antipolo City, and it's a city that I've lived in for a while, and I go back and forth from different places, but Antipolo is pretty much the only place I stay. 6, so there's 16 here. I'm kind of going back and forth to my story to this one just so I don't get distracted. So yeah, I grew up there, and what do you call this? I speak 2 languages, but I can understand 3. There's multiple languages in the Philippines, right? So there's like 100 and something, but I can understand Visaya, which is one of like another kind of main language there, but it's mainly Tagalog, and that's the one I speak, and that's my first language. So they do teach us English over there, and I was pretty good with English, I would say. I'm not very good with math. I put money in here. There's $60 in here for my boyfriend, which is, that's how I call him. That means fat in my language, just so you guys know. I'm kind of mean for calling him fat. My dad, he has a couple of sisters here in the United States, and one of them actually petitioned him like a long time ago. If you guys are not familiar with like petitioning for a husband and a wife, it takes like a year or 2, as well as like offsprings, like mother and daughter, all that good jazz. But for siblings, it takes like 14 to 17 years. So it took them a long time and a lot of money to actually petition my dad. So when the petition went through, he actually had daughters already. He had a family. My parents didn't really get married. They did, but they never passed the what do you call this? They never passed the marriage license thing, so they weren't considered as married. So when my mom found someone else and my dad found someone else, it didn't really matter. So he didn't really have to take her at that time. So we went. It was just me and my 2 other sisters. It was my big sister and my sister that was right after me. So this one is for vacation. So I have 20, 30, 40, 50, $61. Should be 61. Yes, because I used this for that concert ticket. So I'm just gonna put the amount here like I said. I'm so sorry if this is like a confusing thing. I just want you guys to get to know me a little bit more. I'm confused. Oh, there you go. So we went. It was around 2008 that everything was finalized. You have to jump through hoops to get here. Like you have to have your processing stuff, and then you have to get an interview. Then you have to get a whole physical, and then you have to get an orientation on how the United States work. I honestly did not learn anything about taxes and stuff. It was just a whole bunch of nonsense, I honestly. Next one is for gas and Uber. Yeah, basically it was like a whole bunch of nothing. And then in April of 2008, I arrived in the United States. Georgia is where my other aunts live, so everyone else lived here, but that's basically how it happened. Oh, there's nothing in here, so great. We don't have to put anything there. So the next one is gifts. Around that time, I was introduced into like the American culture. The first impression I have of the United States was when the doors open at the airport, right? It was so cold. Like if you're not familiar with the weather in the Philippines, we only have 2 seasons, which is a rainy and like sunny season. So it was really cold, and Georgia is full of like green stuff. So I was like, it's all very clean, and I was very surprised that McDonald's, they have free refills. Like the freaking beverage thing is outside. So I was really surprised by that, because in the Philippines you have to pay by the cup. In a couple of days I was able to like show them my school. I was able to show them like what I have as far as transcripts. So I was already in high school in the Philippines, but they put me back on 8th grade, which is not high school, to be clear. So it set me back a lot, and I was fairly frustrated by it, but I couldn't do anything because they evaluated my transcripts, and I guess that's their decision. But I was just frustrated by it because I was already in my 2nd year of high school in the Philippines. So that's why I'm pretty old for what I am, basically. Like all my schoolmates were young, and I couldn't really control that. I was here for 3 years, right? I was in the United States for 3 years. Gotta find my savings. Oh, my savings won't have one because I'm starting a savings, a small one. It's not a big one. I'm gonna stuff probably $100 here every month if I can, just because I have to save for citizenship. I'm here for 5 years, so I have to save for citizenship. So that doesn't have anything. And I also have to save for my conventions that I want to go to. So anyways, following the story, I was here for 3 years, like I said. I went to school. I was here back and forth from here to California. I lived in California for about a year. I lived in Alhambra, California. It's kind of like, I guess, close to Los Angeles. And I have a separate story about my relationship with that, because I had a boyfriend there, and it was pretty, he was my first love, so you guys kind of know how that goes, but that's on a separate day. Now this is medical. I really like this one, it's so cute. So yeah, I lived there and I loved California so much. Like if I ever want to live somewhere, it would be there because I could just walk anywhere. I had the freedom to do anything, like not exactly like with my aunts and uncle, like they were kind of strict but not as strict as my parents. I could walk to school. I walked to school every day. I went to Alhambra High School. 30, 40, 50, 60, 2, 3, 64, right? No, 68. 30, 40, 50, 60, oh yeah, 68. Can't count. So yeah, I walked there and then I had to go back to Georgia because I was only there for a little bit. I had the choice to go to school there, like my aunt and uncle, they were gonna keep me, but I decided not to. I don't know why, I kind of regret it, so that's that. I was supposed to go to Pasadena College and it just didn't work out. So I had to go back here and there was a problem with our papers, right? They sent us a mail, something in the mail that there was a problem with our papers as far as my sisters and I. But my sister at this time, my older one, she was already married, and so it doesn't really matter with her about the papers. But we were asked to go back to the Philippines. Like it was something like, I don't remember, I didn't see the paper, but it was just something like we have to go back to the Philippines, like there was a problem with it or something, like we have to go to a hearing or something, and my dad didn't want to go through with it. He didn't want to deal with it because those things can get kind of expensive, so he just said, let's just go. There's nothing in my rent because I just paid rent. He just kind of said, let's just go and take you back to the Philippines for now. I went back, right, and then they put me at the last year of high school there. And I stayed there for 3 more years, right? And I had a lot of friends than I normally do. I've never had friends just because I look different. Like, if you know what Filipinos look like, they are not white, they don't have brown hair, they don't have green eyes, and that's me. So I didn't have a lot of friends. I get bullied a lot, a whole lot. And that was something that I had to deal with. And my sister, actually, my older one, she was very protective. And she would always fight them off. Like they would throw like rocks at me, right? In the Philippines when I was younger, they would throw rocks at me and she would like throw them sand. But yeah, it was just that whole thing. Like she would be there every time. Like if somebody bullied me, she'll be in my classroom right there. Somebody bullied, because they would call me like adopted and stuff because I looked really different from my family. For water, it's empty as well because I just paid that, so I'm just gonna transfer that here. Internet, I paid that as well, I think, but I have $2 left over because I put more in here than I thought. So yeah, I was there, but my older sister wasn't there with me. But it's funny because whenever I came back, that's when I got a lot of friends. And even transferring, I was in college in the Philippines. I was taking education, like majoring in English. I was wanting to be a high school teacher over there, and that was one of the ones that I wanted to do, but I mainly wanted to focus on art. My parents are not really like that. They want to do something that is a concrete type of a career, which I understand, but deep inside I wanted to do art, and if I could go back, I would have fought for it more. We are getting so deep and personal with this. This was supposed to be just me letting you know how I got here. On to the actual story. Oh, this is a new sinking funds. So if you guys, I'm kind of like spoiling my new sinking funds, but I'm separating my gifts from Christmas because realistically you'd kind of touch the gifts too much. Yeah, that was the whole deal. Then my dad got a mail again when he was here saying you can have a 10-year green card. So basically they were telling him that he didn't have to send us home, that we are eligible for a 10-year green card. And I was honestly not gonna go because I was in a relationship at that time. It was pretty serious. Basically, I've had 3 serious relationships in my life. The first one was the one in California, and then the second one was this one in the Philippines. It was pretty serious and it was just a really upsetting time. He actually made me a video of when we were separating, basically. Oh, electricity I don't have any because I just paid that. And it was sad, and it was one of the things it was one of like the hardest things I've ever had to do. It's kind of like a very dramatic scene, but it was pretty rough. So this placeholder is just for these little internet stuff that I have right here. So I'm gonna put this here. These are just the stuff that I keep in my little, whatchamacallit, in my bank account. So yeah, it was around 2013, I think, 2014, that we were called back in to do all of the steps all over again. And the freaking interview person was like, is he really your father? And he was American. He was interviewing me. I was like, yeah, he is my father. So he was just trying to be, I guess, thorough. For my allowance, it's this one. I'm gonna miss this cherry look right here, but this is kind of cool. So I have, how much in here? I have $66. So let's see, 50, 66. So yeah, it was around that time, and then I had to leave that boyfriend behind. We kind of had to do the long distance relationship, but it didn't really work out. It was rough. It's hard to do a long distance relationship, and we are not really the type, like, our dynamic wasn't that great. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad person, I'm not saying I'm the victim here, but basically it just didn't go our way, and that's just the reality of things, and it was sad. That's it. That's how I got here. Basically a long story, including all my shenanigans, but I don't mind spilling my beans because I feel like that's how I wanted to start my YouTube. I wanted to like share my experience. I've experienced a lot, from like abuse, from bullying, from a lot of things, honestly, and I don't mind sharing it. I consider myself a really strong person, like, not verbally, like I wouldn't be like somebody that would complain. And that's not a bad thing. Like what Meredith said, people with closed mouths don't get fed, basically. And that hits home a lot because I really don't speak up a lot. As far as experience go, I have went through so much. Just wanted to inspire people because depression and anxiety is something that I really don't understand, and I know that it exists. With everything that I've went through, I feel like I should have it, but I don't think I do, because I can handle things pretty well, but it's not for everyone. Like, not everyone is the same way. So if I can like help someone that's going through depression, because that's how I see it. If I see myself, right, like I went through some horrible shit, I really did. Like, it's no joke. I've been abused by a couple of people. I've been bullied by so many people, and I have been cheated on. My family wasn't the best. Like, we had a divorce. Somebody's life will always be way worse than yours. It's not that I'm trying to rejoice in that person's pain, but I'm trying to be inspired by that person who walks through their life every day and just being so strong. So that's how I look at life, and if I can inspire one of you guys to just keep going, because honestly, my life right now, I'm not rich. I'm not at the point of where I want to be. I wanted to be married. I wanted to have a career. I wanted so many things for myself because I've been through so much, and I thought like I deserved that. I may not have all of that yet. I don't have any of my goals, but I am honestly very happy. I've never loved myself more than I've had lately, and I love who I am. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm proud of my family. I'm proud of everything we went through. I would like to write a book one day about my life. Okay, so this is my entertainment. I would probably do more story times in the future, a more in-depth one. If you guys are interested, let me know which one would you like to hear about. I agree, I didn't really like going through too much detail. I kind of bounced around from one story to another. I wanted to share how I got here, but I got so many things out of the way as well. Next ones are my groceries and my eating out. So for eating out, I don't have anything. I'm broke. The last one is groceries, which I will be doing that today. I will not be rolling over these grocery money because I am sacrificing a week, because I usually have my cash stuffing today, but since I won't stuff anything, I will be out of money for a week as far as groceries go. So I'm just gonna leave what I have and then use that for the upcoming week, if you guys know what I mean. Hopefully I don't confuse you. So I have stuffed all of my envelopes right here, and if you guys didn't notice, my planner one doesn't have an envelope anymore. So we're not gonna do planners anymore, just because it gets taken out of my Etsy fund from now on. So she has $32. So I think I'm gonna divide this into like 3 cash envelopes that I haven't been stuffing because I've been out of work. And I think let's do medical is pretty good. I think we could do clothing. Well, clothing, I think, yeah, clothing. If I can find it. Cleaning out. Clothing, we can do that. What else? We can do Christmas. And then we can do the gifts because I need to like put more into my gifts. Yeah, there you go. Let's put money in those. I'm gonna put $11 from my planner sinking fund in here so we can just have more cushion in there. So 40, so that should be 51. Christmas, we're gonna put $11 as well, kind of a new one, so it's his first money. I think sinking funds are really helpful. So we're putting $11, and then $10 will go to my clothing, just because I use this a lot lately because of my work clothes that I have to buy. Kind of unfortunate. 11 should be 20, no, 10 should be 23. All right, there we go. That's it for the planner one. And as far as my Etsy fund, like I said, I won't be using this anymore. I won't be funding this because it gets its own every time I get paid on my Etsy. And that's thanks to you guys because I've been getting paid weekly, and not all Etsy sellers, I just started, not all Etsy sellers that has just started gets paid every week. And I'm so blessed because you guys love my stuff so much and you guys buy from me. Even some of you guys have messaged me that you've made my shop a sinking fund just for my stickers, and I don't ever want to make you guys like under budget any of my stickers. I would never ever want you guys to be under budget because of my shop. So I think that's a great idea if you frequently buy my stuff. And if you want, you can invest on a Cricut, honestly, or a Silhouette. You can invest on those and just be fine and just make your own stickers, because it's rough like buying all these stickers, and I know some people can get broke with it, and I don't want that for you guys. So please don't purchase from my shop. Don't ever think you have to buy anything from me to support me if you don't have the money. So please keep that in mind. Thank you guys so much for all your support here and on my Etsy shop. So that is it, guys. I've pretty much spilled my beans. We're gonna say goodbye to these cash envelopes, and this one's my new one. So I'm really happy because this one's like more a muted vibe. So I'm gonna put these in these big cash envelopes, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.